So for me to try to write it in a way that a child that age would think, it was very eye-opening for me. And it was a really therapeutic thing for me to do, to try to think about how, because Trevor had tried to go see a counselor for a little while in high school, and he was like, that doesn't work for me. So, counseling wasn't something that he thought he would benefit from, and he wasn't interested in it, and he wouldn't do it. So what do you do with a kid who's thrown into therapy with a stranger, and that's not anti-therapy, because he does end up going to the school counselor where he's comfortable. He's comfortable with this man who also knew his brother, and so to look at it through the eyes of somebody that age, and to take all of my emotion and all of my guilt and all of my, what if, woulda, shoulda, coulda, all those things, and put it on a kid who is at an age where they feel like they're being looked at all the time and judged, but they also feel invisible at the same time. So how does he feel walking in and everything gets quiet? How does he feel walking in and nobody's looking at him? How, it's because his life, like other adults are much more, they give you more time. Kids move on. They're very impulsive. And so what do you do when you go in the second day of school and, wow, this is weird, things are more normal? Like they're all moving on, where you feel like you're standing still and the world is just flying around you, And so to explore from that perspective was really fascinating for me. And I hope I captured it, to write it in that voice. It really helped me sort of get into Trevor's mind as well, into his way of thinking when he was that age.
In the book, he's 13. I believe.
Yes.
So
yes.
That is such a awkward time.
It's that whole look at me, what are you looking at? time.
Yeah. As I was reading it, the friendships that are there, where it's not always easy for a friend to be a friend in that moment of, because how do you're 13, how do you do that,
Right.
I think one of the things that makes it so relatable is that this idea, this thing that happens, the loss of Trevor, you don't learn about that. You don't no. As a mother, you don't have the thing of like, here's what to do if this happens. Here's how you should feel if this happens.
Exactly.
So to put it in this perspective of this 13-year-old kid who has all eyes looking at him but doesn't want people to look at him, knowing that it's written by somebody who's wanting that conversation with people, but maybe they don't know how to do it, and it just, as I was reading it, it all just sort of connected, and it just made sense, if that makes sense.
It does. Thank you. That's a lovely compliment. Because I did want him to be relatable. I wanted people to be able to, and frankly, it changes the entire family dynamic. You're now an only child, or there's only one other sibling or whatever. But like for him, it changes the dynamic with your parents as well. Depending on their reaction, of course. But your dad goes back to work because he has to, and your mom is having trouble getting out of bed.
Yeah.
And you're suddenly like thrust into this this new life that you didn't ask for.
Yeah.
You didn't want. And you have nobody to say, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And you don't want to burden other people with it. As an adult, you don't want to burden other people with it. But as a 13-year-old, as a child, gosh, how do you navigate that? And you want answers. I want answers. As an adult, I want answers. And of course, as a kid, why did this happen? And they blame themselves for everything anyway. Somebody's mad. Are you mad at me? Did I do something? Because you're still trying to figure out how the world works and what your place in the world is. And you really feel like you have a lot more control over things that you do.
What you just said now, as far as you're looking for those answers and you don't know, I really do believe that this book, especially for surviving siblings, is going to be an answer. This is a guiding light for somebody who's sort of in that darkness, you know, and I, having talked with you, I know that it was also sort of a guiding light for you as well in the writing of it and getting
Absolutely.
that.
It's very therapeutic.
Yeah.
It's very difficult, but it was very therapeutic.